Roman Reigns haters, I got some bad news for you. And if you are Roman Reigns supporters, well, I got good news for you. In this video, we're going to break down because Roman Reigns, he's a polarizing guy. You may not think so every time, but he actually is if you think about it. A guy that WB pushed down our throats for years as a babyface. It didn't work out. Then it takes a freaking pandemic, him telling Vince McMahon, adios, I'm taking a break, him coming back with Paul Heyman, turning heel, doing a completely different gimmick, and being a ultra-dominant star, holding the Universal title for over 3 years, holding the WB title for over a year, now the undisputed WB Universal Champion, and working a part-time schedule. Yeah, that's Roman Reigns in 2023. Did y'all see that stat going around where he worked, 11 matches in 2023? Yeah, and it's because of his part-time schedule. His part-time schedule in which he signed after beating Brock Lesnar for the WB title and becoming the undisputed WB Universal Champion. He signed that deal where he rarely works house shows. He'll occasionally appear on television. He usually never works TV matches, and he'll work only big premium live events. Yes, that's Roman Reigns. That's either all the ammunition you need or all of the things that you can throw in the hater's face. Well, I came across something that I think a lot of you will be interested by, and it comes at a time where 2023 is coming to a close, with WB having a historic financial year thanks to acts such as Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Rhea Ripley, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, among others. And Dave Meltzer, in the recent edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, had the top 10 merchandise sellers through the first 10 months of the year. Okay, so through October 2023. And what do we have here? We got Roman Reigns at number 2. So he goes Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, LA Knight, John Cena, Rhea Ripley, Seth Rollins, Bloodline, Judgment Day, Rey Mysterio, LWO, and Kevin Owens. So what does this stat tell us? That despite the fact that Roman Reigns has been booked on top of the card for many, many years, despite the fact that he rarely wrestles, he rarely appears, he's a part-time champion. Oh my God. Despite the fact that many people think that his run as tribal chief should come to a close, that the act is just over. The bloodline story is just not interesting no more. It's redundant. All of the negatives. When Roman Reigns appears on television, his ratings go up. Engagement on social media goes up. And when he's off television, even, he sells merchandise. He's a top guy for a reason. He's a dominant champion for a reason, right? He has it all. He has the business metrics that back up that he's a major star. He has the booking that he's a major star. And more importantly, he has the performance of being a major star, both in the ring and out. And I covered this in a previous video, but I think it's worth addressing with this topic, which is he the GOAT? Is he? Well, John Cena was on After the Bell with Corey Graves, where he actually spoke about this topic. And this was before he went away, of course, before Crown Jewel. And he talked about Roman Reigns and why he feels Roman Reigns is the greatest of all time. Now, I will say, I disagree with him, but I think it's worth listening. So this is what he had to say. He's a sponge. He's athletic and super intelligent. He's a fan of this. I mean, all of this. And most importantly, a fan of psychology. I say that WB Universe is the biggest superstar we have. Roman navigated those waters without them, meaning the pandemic. Here's the thing with Roman. I don't think Roman is Roman if he didn't have time to work in front of no crowds, because the crowd would have been so against the fact that the company believed in Roman Reigns. I set the precedent of the company guy. So everyone has a tough hill to climb once they become pushed, and there's a giant worry behind the curtain. We all know that too. We all know that, okay, we got to be careful with how this happens because we don't want this to happen. That absolutely happened with Roman. Then it would, the crowd wasn't there. That Joe couldn't take more chances, and that Roman couldn't be himself. There wasn't anyone to be like, that sucked or didn't work, because you don't have instant feedback. So night after night, he becomes extremely nuanced, soft-spoken character, which is not the yelling welcome to SmackDown that they're used to. And as soon as they bring people back in, he's done such a riveting program. Like, man, now I want to see this guy. And he's done better than anyone I've ever seen. He's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. That's John Cena, a guy that WWE currently calls the greatest of all time, the GOAT. Now, I said this when this interview first dropped. I don't think Roman Reigns is the GOAT. I think it's too early to say that, no matter how much they book him, no matter how much longer his reign as undisputed WWE Universal Champion goes on. I think it's too soon to say that. And that's fine. In my opinion, I think Hulk Hogan holds that right. I think Hulk Hogan is the GOAT. If you look at it from all the business that he's done, all the historic moments that he's been a part of, the legendary feuds, legendary matches, and more importantly, and this is what John Cena doesn't have, and this is what Roman Reigns doesn't have, or The Rock, or Steve Austin, or Shawn Michaels, or Bret Hart, and his longevity. Hulk Hogan did it over 2 decades in 2 different promotions. Now, I've seen the argument, well, Chris Jericho could be the GOAT, and I think you actually have a valid point. If you're going to try to argue that, if you think about it, Chris Jericho, he has reinvented himself numerous times, and he's done so in multiple promotions, whether that be ECW, WCW, WWE, New Japan, or now in AEW. He's done just that. And he's done it on a consistent and high level at that. So I don't think Roman Reigns is the GOAT. Now, what do you do with Roman Reigns going forward, right? Because we're heading into 2024. Reportedly, Roman Reigns will not be working any more shows for WWE, whether that be TV appearances or matches, for the rest of the year. He's gone. He's out. Bye-bye. See you later. I'll see you in January for the Royal Rumble and the start of WrestleMania season. What do you do going forward in that? I don't know. Obviously, they're building towards a brother versus brother feud between Jimmy and Jey Uso going into WrestleMania. If they can stretch it out long enough, which I assume they will, considering that both guys are on 2 different brands, although they will be sharing the squared circle at Survivor Series in the men's War Games match. What do you do with Roman? Well, you could run it back with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. You could bring in The Rock, that historic dream match, as long as WWE and The Rock can come to terms on a business-altering, idea and storyline that The Rock likes to throw out there. Look, I've been a Rock fan since I was a kid. I used to buy his elbow pads. Okay, I'm a big Rock fan, but that mentality of like, well, we have to come up with a storyline that is historic for the business is just ridiculous, and it's unnecessary, and it's outlandish, and I just don't understand that mentality. If you have a great story in which they already have built in with the bloodline, you don't need other factors. Good story, have a match, make money. That's what wrestling is. Bottom line. Bottom line. You can either be in wrestling for fanfare, you can be in wrestling for the money. A lot of guys, they're in for fanfare. I think these days, it outweighs that. But in all reality, when it comes down at the bottom line, wrestling is about money, and Roman Reigns makes it.